Roadhouse, Prime Video film that just hit the streaming service this previous month in the month of March. This is obviously the remake of the legendary for a lot of people 80s film called Roadhouse. This film is directed by Doug Liman, who's had some pretty big directorial films, including Swingers, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, The Bourne Identity, and Edge of Tomorrow. This film stars Jake Gyllenhaal in the leading role as Dalton, a former UFC fighter who is struggling to make money, is recruited by Frankie, played by Jessica Williams, who runs a roadhouse in Florida, but it's being basically taken over by a lot of these douchebags, and they need some kind of security person to intimidate these people from ruining the roadhouse. Along the way, Dalton meets Ellie, played by Danielle Melchior, who is a doctor who helps Gyllenhaal's character after a fight in the early goings of the movie. Billy Magnuson plays Ben Brandt, the person who's trying to take over this area of the Roadhouse. And Conor McGregor plays the character of Knox, recruited by Magnuson's character's father to get the job done. The film is 2 hours long and is rated R. Welcome back to a brand new movie review here on Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinnerberg. I'm talking about Roadhouse today, the new version 2024. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. What are your thoughts on Roadhouse? Do you like this more or less than the original, or are you a massive fan of the original? Do you like these type of movies? Do you not? Did you like it? Did you like it? Let me know in the comment section. Also, please like the video, guys, the thumbs up button. That's really how you support this channel with the YouTube algorithm. And also, please subscribe and ring that bell. We're so close to 200 subscribers, so let's get us there in the next week or two. I talk all things movie, TV. I do out of theater reactions, and I do a box office show every single week. So please subscribe, ring the bell if you're new to the channel. As I said earlier, this is a movie that I missed during literally my trip that I was across the country for over a week. So I finally got a chance to get around to watch it, which I was very excited about. Let's get into my thoughts on the new version of Roadhouse. And up front, I do want to say I've seen maybe the original Roadhouse maybe once, maybe two times. It's not a movie that I have any sort of nostalgia for or want to rewatch. It's for me more of it's time movie. If you grew up with that movie, I understand people who enjoy it. Not totally for me. So I was excited to check out the new one, really just because Jake Gyllenhaal is, for me, one of the top five, top three best working actors today. He has one of the best range in acting today. And every time he's in a movie, I think it is worth watching. So let's get a new version of Roadhouse. What I'm going to say is, for me, this is another one of those movies I've seen this year. I've said this a lot this year so far, that it's a pretty stupid, dumb movie. Maybe you've seen this type of movie before, obviously, with the previous Roadhouse, but I did have fun watching the new version of Roadhouse. Now, the biggest reason why I had a lot of fun is Jake Gyllenhaal. He, as always, if it's a stupid movie, if it's a serious movie, if it's a comic book movie, he puts 100% effort into the performance, and he is all in on this movie, all in on this performance, and he is excellent in this film. Gyllenhaal continues to prove again why he's one of the best actors working today. He is really good, obviously, in the very serious scenes. He obviously, if you watch the trailers or the movie, have seen what incredible shape that Gyllenhaal got for this performance. You feel his presence when he's fighting. He feels like a believable fighter. Obviously, he's playing someone he used to be in the UFC, who's now a bouncer, but it's believable to me that he can stand up to someone like Conor McGregor. But the comedy and the smirks and the facial reactions are all on display for Gyllenhaal, and he's terrific in the movie. He's easily the best part of the film, and why it is, for the most part, watchable more than it's not. And I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I love when you can just tell he just wanted to have fun for a couple of months while making a movie. And this is the exact movie. Yes, he got in a lot of shape to be able to do these action scenes. He had a ball with the performance, and Gyllenhaal's excellent in the film. From another performance perspective, I really enjoy Billy Magnuson. I don't know why he hasn't broken out really since Game Night, or gotten any major roles. Is what I mean. Any major roles since Game Night. He pops in here and there into a lot of things, and I always love Billy Magnuson. And here he plays this very over-the-top cartoonish villain who actually enjoyed being that foil to Gyllenhaal. From the female perspective, I really like Jessica Williams and Danielle Melchior. Obviously, I just saw Jessica Williams in Shrinking. She's excellent. And Melchior in both, obviously, the Suicide Squad and Fast X and Guardians 3. She's another really terrific actress. I would say they both had a lot less on the table, but their performances are so excellent. They're also very watchable. Now, what I'll say about Conor McGregor's performance, once again, like a lot of performances in this movie, it's a cartoon. It's very over the top. There are times where it works and there's times where it doesn't. But I will say was the biggest problem with the performance, you want to say, is the placement of the character into the movie. And before I even get to that, I do want to say as well, I had a fun time watching the movie. The action scenes are tons of fun for the most part. They're very much hand-to-hand combat choreographed scenes, and I enjoy hand-to-hand combat in these type of action films. And for me, just a dumb, stupid movie. Like I had a grin and was laughing throughout. I enjoyed myself watching Roadhouse. Now, on the other end of that, this is a pretty stupid movie, and there are too many characters in this film. And what I mean is that the Ellie character is played by Danielle Melchior. Just feels like another stereotypical girlfriend who's a damsel in distress for Gyllenhaal to return to the third act of the movie. They have they have really good chemistry together. But once they go on this kind of first date in the second act of the movie, that's kind of as far as the relationship kind of goes in the story, and she just kind of feels useless at some points in the film. Jessica Williams is interesting as Frankie, but I wish we got more of a character perspective from Frankie. Why does she want to run a roadhouse and the specifics of all of that? It's just very paint by the numbers. A lot of these characters are. Now, the biggest problem from a character perspective is Knox, played by McGregor. It's an over the top, entertaining performance. But for me, and especially in the third act of the movie, there doesn't seem to be a script reason why McGregor has to be the big boss fight for the third act of the movie. When he's introduced, it makes sense why they're foiling him in to go after Gyllenhaal. But there's a point where it just didn't make any sense for Knox to even be a part of the third act of the movie, other than he's being played by Conor McGregor. The fight scenes also at times, while I enjoyed them for the most part, there's especially one fight scene where there's so much quick cam, you kind of get dizzy and kind of don't understand what's going on in a particular fight scene. I think the movie again should have stuck with Billy Magnussen as kind of the big villain. While yes, he's not a physical threat to Gyllenhaal, his villainous from a script perspective was a lot more interesting than McGregor being the physical threat. For Gyllenhaal. And again, you've seen this movie a billion times. A loner struggling to make money, gets recruited to go to this town. The town kind of sees him as this hero. And he doesn't see himself as that. You've seen this movie a billion times. It's very paint by the numbers in that way. But still, overall, guys, I enjoyed Roadhouse. It definitely won't be one of the best action comedies of all these things all year long. By far, it will not be. And this definitely fits in that same length for me as Godzilla Kong and Beekeeper, for these kind of stupid movies that I have fun with. I know a lot of people, if you don't like this movie, I totally get why. For me, I had fun. So overall, I'm going to give Roadhouse 2024 a 3.5 out of 5, 65%. What are your thoughts on this new movie? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you guys soon.